On the road again. Thank God the Rangers are going on the road again. I know I can't sing, but that captures everything I feel about this team. Thank goodness they're getting away from MSG. Hey everybody, I'm Todd Werwa, your host for Rangers Daily, right here on the Fan Arch Media Network and on YouTube. I'm hoping you're enjoying the show. Thank you for leaving comments. I read them all. Please subscribe. Please tell your friends. Please ring the bell to get updates whenever a new episode is out. Please, I appreciate all the love. It's fantastic. This is a dialogue. It may just be me speaking to the camera, but it's really emboldened by your comments and your thoughts and your questions. So I'll have one at the end of this episode for you that I really appreciated. We'll talk about that. But first, the big news of Wednesday. Vincent Trocheck placed on long-term IR. He's out until the earliest November 1st. It's 10 games or 24 days. Remember, he got hurt in the second game against Buffalo. He had one assist in the two games. So here's the deal with this November 1st date. It's against Seattle. It's the final of a 4-game Western Canada. We're including Seattle in that trip. Western Canada and Pacific Northwest trip. So that's the last game of that trip on the road. I kind of think if we're going to see him when he comes back, we'll see him Tuesday, November 4th versus Carolina at MSG. That would make more sense. It would be home. It would give him some extra days practice after the team gets back from the road trip. That's my likely landing spot, but who am I to say? That's up to Vincent Trocheck, how he heals, up to the doctors, and up to Mike Sullivan and Chris Drury. Alexis Lafreniere has taken his spot on Power Play 1. Power Play has looked good. They've gotten a bunch of shots. They had 8 and 3 power plays against the Edmonton Oilers. They moved the puck really nicely. They've had a bunch of chances. They just haven't scored at home, but nobody has. And remember what they're missing in Vincent Trocheck. He scored 20-plus goals in each of the last 3 seasons with the Rangers, including 26 last season. So when we talk about their inability to score at home, some of it is because they're missing a 25-plus goal scorer. And they need that in the lineup. They don't really have that sitting on the bench as a replacement or, move upable, for lack of a better term, from the bottom 6 into the top 6. Now, they could have goal scorers in Hartford, but that's not who they called up. Scott Morrow was called up from Hartford, and that in part goes with Will Borgen not practicing on Wednesday. A big sort of shakeup in the D pair, right? Carson Soucy's out, and Borgen's injured, and Mike Sullivan was non-committal on whether he'll play on Thursday against the Toronto Maple Leafs. We'll see. Think they obviously could use Borgen. He's been pretty good, but Scott Morrow has been excellent as well. Remember, they got him from Carolina in the Keandre Miller sign and trade deal. In camp, he quarterbacked Power Play 2, and he looked really good. A lot of people thought he was going to make it as the 7th defenseman. A lot of people were disappointed that he didn't make it as the 7th defenseman, but he's young, so they sent him down to Hartford. They kept Matthew Robertson up, and Robertson has been pressed into service. He's looked pretty good, but we'll see if Morrow makes his NYR season debut in Toronto tonight. Not sure. There are a whole variety of things that can happen. So Schneider could move up to the second pair with Robertson. Morrow could jump in with Urho Vakanainen on that third pair. They do also have Connor Mackey that they had called up. They freed up money with the Vincent Trocheck LTIR, so they're able to call Morrow up and keep Mackey up. Urho, remember, got benched for the third period against the Oilers. He didn't look great, and they kind of rotated guys through to fill his spot. So it's a big question as to what the D pairs will look like Thursday night and who'll play where. And some of it all depends on how Will Borgen heals, how he feels, how serious the injury is. No one was really sure what the injury was because he played the most shifts of his game in the third period against the Oilers, and he finished the game with no sign of any injury. So we'll see exactly what it is. Hopefully, it's not anything long term or anything maybe more than a game. Hopefully, it's not even a game, and he can be back in the lineup. But the injury bug has hit, and it hasn't hit at a great time. So we'll see what the D pairs look like. It's interesting. I think that's the weakest part of their roster, especially as we've seen the emergence of the fourth line. I think past Gavrikov and Fox, who are still putting it together, and don't get me wrong, they were fantastic. Gavrikov and his stick, they were tremendous against the Oilers. But I think that defense is the weakest part of the team, and to have possibly two guys out, so you're really inserting your seventh and eighth defenseman in there. Not the greatest, but not the greatest, especially on the road where you don't have last change. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how Mike Sullivan does it. The system has been very stingy. They've been very good on the road. So we'll see what Mike Sullivan and his coaches put on the wall and how he lines up the six guys who play defense against Toronto. Let's move back to the forwards and Artemi Panarin. Molly Walker had a chance to catch up with him. Remember, Artemi Panarin didn't play any in the preseason. He had, I think it was first a lower body, then an upper body, or vice versa. He had one and then developed the other. So we didn't see him in the preseason. So he's just sort of getting back to it, and all that chemistry that they tried to build in the preseason and in camp. He eventually got into out of the non-contact jersey in camp and started to build some chemistry with his line mates. But he's off to a bit of a slow start. He's got only 2 assists, 2 assists in the first 5 games. He admitted to Molly Walker those first few games have been difficult. He said, the last 2, at least I feel better, and that's good. Like I said, he has 2 assists on the season, 11 shots on goal, 33 attempts, which isn't bad. And when Panarin was on the ice, according to Natural Stat Trick, at even strength, the shot attempts were 26-15 Rangers when he was on the ice. At all strengths, when Panarin was on the ice versus the Oilers, they out-attempted Edmonton 42-15. Now, that's terrific. It's obviously bolstered by the 8 shots they had on the power play. But those 42 attempts were the most of any forward. Only, I think, Adam Fox, when he was on the ice, there were 43 attempts. But it's not obvious. I'm not saying that these are the number of attempts Artemi Panarin attempted. These are the number of attempts shot attempts the Rangers took while Panarin was on the ice. The only person that had more while he was on the ice was Adam Fox. So it's most of any forward. At all strengths, his expected goals for against Edmonton was 2.25. Expected goals against, only 1.09. His expected goals for percentage was 67.28. So they were driving play, and that line was pushing the score. The high danger. See, that's what you get when you get HD CF, high definition. High danger chances for were 6. High danger chances allowed when he was on the ice, only 1. Pretty good. That line of Panarin, Mika, and Lafreniere, which obviously has only come together because of Vincent Trocheck's injury. See, it all goes back to the Vinny Trocheck injury. At 5-on-5, they had a 19-12 shot attempt advantage. So that line played well, has started to play better, and they need more from Panarin. He looks like he's getting into the zone and kind of chopping it up instead of really taking it strong. He's looking to make a pass, looking to be a playmaker. They need him to be the scorer. They need him really to make things happen. Let him shoot and let the guys in front grab those rebounds if they can find them. I did look at Hockey Reference. He has 11 giveaways to only 2 takeaways. So it seems like he might be stick handling a little too much, but let's let him have some games under his belt and find his rhythm. Now, it is a contract year, so he's going to be watched with a very fine eye. And we've seen, there were a whole bunch of stars that were going to become UFAs after the end of this year. Now, a few of them have signed. Kirill Kaprizov, Connor McDavid, I think Kyle Connor signed, if I have that right. But Panarin, it's going to be an interesting decision. I saw Johnny Lazarus talking about it as well. It'll be an interesting decision, and everything he does this year will be scrutinized. That's just the way it goes in the final year of your contract. But you do have to say he's been one of the best signings the Rangers possibly have ever made. He has delivered in every way. I know he hasn't delivered in every playoff series, but you look at his points and you look at how he drives play, he has really delivered right from the get-go. And finally, I promise you I won't sing again, but the Rangers are on the road tonight in Toronto. They're 2-0 on the road. They've outscored opponents 10-1. Now, those opponents were Buffalo and Pittsburgh, a different caliber of opponent than the Toronto Maple Leafs. But here's just a little bit. The Maple Leafs are coming off a 7-4 win over Nashville on Tuesday. Austin Matthews had 2 goals. He now has 3 on the season. The Leafs have won the last 2 meetings, but the Rangers have won the last one in Toronto 4-1. That was on October 19th, 2024, which feels like an eternity ago, doesn't it? Just in terms of the evolution of this team. Things were going really well at that point, and then they eventually cratered, and you had the whole dysfunction, and that led, obviously, Kreider's now gone, and Trouba's gone, and, there's a whole lot that has happened since that October 19th, 2024, in terms of the Rangers organization. Obviously, Laviolette gone, Mike Sullivan in. So we'll see. Like I said, Toronto has won the last 2 meetings, but the way the Rangers are playing, I like what they're doing, and they certainly have shown they can shut down big scores. Ovechkin had basically nothing in the game against Washington, and McDavid had nothing. He really had one semi-dangerous chance. I think he may have had 3 attempts in the game on Tuesday night. So I have confidence they can shut down Austin Matthews, Tavares, Willie Nylander, Matthew Nyes, and the group of Maple Leafs that are playing well. They did lose 2 before their win. They lost 2 to Detroit over the weekend, in and around the weekend. But they're coming off a 7-4 win over Nashville. So before I wrap up, and again, this is Rangers Daily. I'm your host, Todd Werwa. And if you leave comments, I just might read them and chat about them. So I wanted to read this. This is from Wu-Tang PJ's 5055. We all have weird handles on YouTube. What can I say? But thank you for the comment. Said they're playing great with no puck luck. This is a different looking team, not just from last year, but for at least 4 seasons. They are nasty and annoying. The defense has been the best in years. All the pokes and positioning of the sticks have been something awesome to watch. Awesome to watch. I know it's 3 games, but I like it. The crazy thing is that they're only going to get better. And that's the attitude that Mike Sullivan and JT Miller have both mentioned. They keep playing like this, everything will even out, and they'll have more losses than wins. They'll win some of these games that are getting stolen from them, that they're getting goalied on, and they'll have more wins than losses. They're playing great, and they're only 5 games into it. They're going to get better. If you're talking about sticks and positioning, go back and take a look at some of the highlights of what Gavrikov did in that game and how it helped Adam Fox get the puck out of the zone, but how it broke up plays. And his stick was phenomenal. His stick work, his positioning, he's showing why the Rangers spent the big money on him. But he'll develop that chemistry with Adam Fox. He's a real good defender and real good in the art of positioning, not just in terms of puck carrying or shooting or hitting or anything like that. He's really good with positioning of his body and positioning of his stick to break up plays, shut down passing lanes. It's great to watch. So thank you for the comment. Please leave more. I'll definitely get to them in further shows. Enjoy the game tonight in Toronto. I'll have all the recap, hopefully a happy recap, coming up on Friday morning. But for now, that's all. This has been Rangers Daily. I'm your host, Todd Werwa. Don't forget, please subscribe. please ring that bell and please keep leaving comments.